I guess long story short is I've always been into music, so I've been in a band and touring band since 14. I started very young.
Wow.
Due to my dad, really, I started doing music, and my dad was like, "No one's gonna come to your bedroom to find out who you are," you know. So he
Yeah.
forced us into pubs and stuff. So we were playing since like 14, 15. So we did that for a very long time. I think we quit in 2008, and we opened up a recording studio. So we recorded a bunch of bands. But as we were doing that, my brother was really into the production side of things, so he was really good at getting the nitty gritty of the sounds, like the perfect sounds and stuff. And I found myself, I was always more of a songwriter, so I'd always try and create. So I'd always not like butt into the bands that they were recording, but I'd always be like, oh, this bit should be there because, you know, does it make sense doing this, and this bit should have this bit. And I wouldn't like tell them it should have it, and then when they hear it, they'd be like, oh, that's a cool idea, and we'd do that kind of thing. And then that kind of switched to me just like getting visuals for the music video for their song. So I just thought, fuck it, I'll just start shooting. Because I always did like the typical like hand. Oh, I don't know if I can swear. Sorry.
Say whatever you like. Fuck it.
Okay. I always did like the tour videos. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like just crappy handheld, kind of like just pointing it wherever. So I kind of learned how to edit a little bit from that kind of genre of things. And then I realized I wanted to do that more and more. And then when we did our music videos in our band, I would come up with the concepts and contact people who shot videos and things like that. So it kind of branched off from that. And then I started going into fashion videos, clothing videos, things like that.
Sure.
And at the time I started doing everything for free. Like, I'll just shoot it for free just to learn the whole grasp of everything. And then you slowly get into weddings, and then it slowly gets into corporate, and then it's good because you're excited because like you have a business and you're making money and stuff. And then you're like, I'm not really doing what I want to do.
Yeah, these people are paying me, but it's a bit shit.
Yeah, it's weird because you should be happy about it. Like I technically, you know, it's not 9 to 5, but you just get into that zone of like, I don't want to be doing this. So I always wanted to do films and TV and things like that because I always loved it. But I think the thing that hit me the hardest of like, I loved the storytelling was probably Lost. Just because I loved how, I think it was mainly like the age gap that they had. It was kind of for everyone. And from watching shows, it was either like, you're an older person that likes sci-fi kind of stuff, or you're the person that likes horror, and I really liked how Lost kind of was like, you could be a teen or you could be an adult, and it's somehow related to someone. And I love the emotion of it. I love the emotion of that show. So I was like, oh, you know, I should try and write something. And then it took a while because you could just never get the time or money. And if you haven't done it before, you just don't have a clue where to even start.
Of course.
So I think I somehow, I don't know if this was from band days, but I somehow had a way of marketing myself. And I ended up teaming up with companies like Blackmagic and Panasonic. I don't know why, they just always kind of use me sometimes for pictures and behind the scenes and stuff like that. So I just thought there's something here where I can kind of like, not use them, but do the same thing they're doing to me. Like, you're buddies, but they use you for a certain thing.
Yeah.
So I thought, instead of marketing, oh, here's some pretty flowers blowing in the wind for a camera test, I thought, why don't I bug them and just see if I can get some funding for a film? And my first one was Deserted in Paris, which was shot on the GH5 at the time. And because I was unaware of what to kind of do and ask, I dug a hole way too deep. I was like, oh, you know what? I'll shoot it spherical, and I'll shoot the whole film anamorphic view as well. So I shot the film twice, as well as producing behind the scenes and stills. And I only had, I think, 2 days to do it. And I was like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, I can't even think straight. Why did I offer to? But because they were funding it, I was like, I can't tell them no. And
so did you just contact them saying, I've got this idea for a film, will you fund it? And they said,
yeah, and then they asked for the script, and then they asked for things, and then at the time they were like, I don't think we could do this, and we can fund this side, or we can fund half, and then you fund the other half. And then when I managed to get past the first one, the second one was like, you fund the whole film, and then when you give it to us, we'll reimburse you. So it was good, but you're just like, at the time, you're like, what am I going to get that kind of money from to do that kind of thing?
what was the sort of figure you needed, roughly, ballpark, kind of?
I tried to get it as low as possible, but I think it was, the first one was about $4,000.
Okay.
Which,
sure.
even for a short, was incredibly cheap, because I went to LA. I used LA actors. Then it was a location out in Palm Springs, Pioneer Town. So there's a lot of stuff involved, but I still managed to get the budget quite down. And then the second one, I thought, it was with Panasonic again, and I thought, I can't do that again, because it's just too difficult to get all the flights sorted out. So excuse me. So the second one, I thought, oh, shoot local, and I'll use local people, and the budget still came up to the same price, oddly enough, because what happened was, the style that I wanted to do it in was, it was like a one night film, but the weather kept changing on us, and it was that summertime vibe where it was like, I think it was between 9 and 10. That was the only kind of hour that you had. So it was, ended up using like 4 to 5 nights of just that 1 hour slot.
Sure.
And then trying to make sure that it looked like the same night. And I was just like, oh my God, it was, so it should have been easier, but it wasn't. But yeah, it came out good for what it was. And that was like their later camera. So we were like promoting all the best cameras that they had at the time, kind of thing. And then after that, I did another one called Rusty, which was not with Blackmagic, but it was on Blackmagic. And then Blackmagic ended up promoting it. And that was really fun. And then I dove straight in. I think what it was, I was going to calm down for a bit and just get my head together and figure out what I was doing. And then COVID hits.
Right.
And I was like, it just made me think different. I was just like, what am I doing with my life, basically? I kept getting stuck in this corporate world. I did this massive, like 2-3 years thing with Jimmy Choo, and it was like Milan and back constantly. Really good money, but when I first got a deal with them, nothing happened. And like a year or two later, they contacted me and they said, oh, we want you to shoot for us. Being naive, I was like, oh my God, I'm shooting these massive fashion campaigns with all these models and stuff. But it was more the corporate side of their business.
Right.
So I was like, oh, okay, this still isn't when I, yeah. So it was fun to, see that side of things, but, and they were really nice. But I was just thinking, I'm going to get caught up in this, and sooner or later, it's 10 years later, and I'm like, what am I doing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So when COVID happened, I was like, fuck it, I'll shoot another short, but I'll try and base it on a story that can be elaborated further. If someone likes my work, they'll be like, oh, make this a feature, or make this a show. And I was winning these awards for the shorts. And being naive, I was just thinking, oh, I've seen this happen before. Some festival is going to be like, here's $200,000, make this one a feature. Or all these agents and managers are going to be like, we love your work, kind of thing. And it's just, I was like, I don't think it seems to be working this way. So then I was trying to contact agents and managers. And what I was kind of getting back was, they won't touch you unless you do a feature. And because I haven't shot a feature yet, I was like, well, how much is it going to cost to make a feature? And then I started looking at it, and I was like, $200,000. I was like, I can't fucking make a feature. It's like, how does anyone even make it in this industry? Like, I just don't understand how any of this is possible. And I was like, I can't keep making shorts, because as an ego thing, I appreciate the awards, but it does nothing. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I want to carry on doing what I like to do. And then I was like, I'll try to make a feature, but I don't know how. And I didn't want to be one of those people, no offense to the crowdfunding people, I didn't want to be one of those people that's like, believe in me to make this film, but I don't believe in myself to fund it. Give me all the money. Do you know what I mean?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's I've seen so many people. I've done 3 crowdfunders now, and you have to put your own money in. You just
Yeah.
have to, even if it's just a sign of, look, I'm putting everything I've got in. Can you help us out? But yeah, I've seen so many people. Normally, the people that don't ever meet their targets, saying like, we want like $3,000. They're like,
Yeah.
how much have you put in? Oh, like nothing. Like, well, come on, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's different if like, oh, I put 20 in and we need 50 or
yeah,
whatever. But so I was like, I don't really would want to do that because I don't know. In my mind, it didn't seem right. So then I was just like, I'll put like a rough sheet together of what it cost me to do a certain thing. So I have like 3 to 4 feature films written. Some are just obviously just way out of the ballpark. It's like somewhere in America, just because of locations. I was like, I can't do that because one, I can't afford it, and two, if something doesn't go right or I need more time, there's no way I can go back and forth. It's just impossible. So I just thought I'll put that one to a side. I just kept going through certain ones. I was like, oh, this one's possible. I'll do this one. So then I chose the one I just did, which is Save Jane, which, you know, it's on Amazon right now and it's doing pretty well. And I budgeted, well, I didn't budget because I don't have it. But the prices that I was getting roughly for locations and actors and makeup, I was going towards like the 20 grand. So even then I was like, fuck, I can't afford 20 grand. So I literally sold pretty much everything I own equipment wise, besides the camera that I have to shoot it on. And sorry, excuse me. So I sold like my Blackmagic, I sold like my Panasonic, I sold Z-Cam, I sold like all this stuff. Because at the time I was thinking, I kind of bought those cameras for the corporate world, because sometimes they're like, you gotta be fast, you gotta do this, and you know, we can't be dealing with bigger cameras because it slows us down. So it's gonna hit me hard in the next couple of months because that's what I get paid to pay rent. But I just thought I gotta stop. I think it's because of COVID, it just made me think differently. Like I could be gone tomorrow, and what did I do? Do you know what I mean? So I sold all that because I was buying stuff for them, not for me. And I thought, if I get rid of that, I know I can shoot the feature on this. I know I don't need all these other things to get it done. And I got the film lower finished. Now I got paid for marketing and things like that, but I got the film done for 7 grand. So to me, that's amazing, because the shorts, like I said, were costing 3 to 4 each time. And I just thought, surely if I do the best I can with locations and actors and writing, I can do something for 7 grand. So the original script was a bit more elaborate. It was like a different story, different turnout, and it had more actors in it. And budget wise, it was just like, it's never going to happen. So I thought, there's a way I can do it, that I can get it within this budget. And that was just, difficult. It's just saddening because there's no one to show interest, like agents and manager wise. It was just, And then I was like, oh, I need a big actor, because if I'm going to do a feature, not a big actor, but just someone roughly with a name.
Someone who's been in more than one.
I mean, I know the person that I used and I was going to use is flawless. She's phenomenal at what she does. Everyone in it is really, really good. But it's that unfortunate side of like, I have to have a business head, because I can't just be like, I have the best actor in the world. It's like, but nobody, I hate saying it because it's fucking mean. I don't like thinking that way. But then I thought, I mean, I know it's Netflix because they don't need to do anything. They don't need to advertise and things like that. But I was thinking about Netflix, and I was thinking, every massive show that comes out, 90% of the time there's nobody in it. There's not a big star. Like even the adults and like the kid type versions of the shows, like Fear Street, things like that, most of the time they're not massive. They are now because you know them through Netflix and things like that. But to start with, they weren't massive stars. So it's like, I kind of have to think that way. If you know, I'm not Netflix and I'm not massive, it's just trust in what I'm doing. Because at the time I did have a pretty well-known actress that was going to be in the role. But what would happen was I would have to sell the camera I was shooting it on to afford her.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was like, no, she's in Australia, no, she's in LA, then she's doing this. I'm just like, I can't keep chasing her when she's going to be free. So it's like, fuck it, I'm just going to do what my gut tells me and just try my best with what I can with this. And here I am now. It's done. It's on Amazon, and fingers crossed that the sales and the everything stays how it is, then it'll be pretty good.
How are you finding the Amazon experience from your point of view, as in being an independent filmmaker and taking it to did you go through a distribution company? Did you put it on yourself? Because obviously you can do that.
This was the tricky thing, and it's a pain in the ass to learn that whole way of marketing. So I started off contacting distributors, and the first one was like, it needs to be 70 minutes. Like, unless it's 70 minutes, it won't go on Amazon. It won't go anywhere. No one to take it. So it's like, okay. So I did finish it at 45 because I ran out of money. And I was like, fuck, like no one's going to take it. So then I tried to save up. I think it was like a month later, and I booked another day in. And to me, it felt like we shot loads of stuff. And I'm there and I'm editing it. And I'm like, yes, 60 minutes, fuck. So I only got it to 60 minutes. So it's like, they're not going to take it. And I can't afford, I know it sounds dumb, but it was going to be another $2,000 just to get that 10 minutes.
Yeah,
so I was like,
exactly.
I can't afford it. Yeah. So I finished it at 60, sent it back to them, and they were like, okay, they're still interested. And they sent me a contract. And this was going to do like your usual, like they say Apple TV, Amazon, Tubi, all that stuff. So I was like, okay. And then the one, I won't name names, and the one I wanted said no. So I was like, fuck. So one will distribute it. The one I wanted said no. And there was a bunch of like aggregator versions of that, and those are hard to trust. So I was like, in a weird way, I turned down the one that said yes, because I was like, if I can somehow get it on Amazon myself without them, it kind of went back to how I dealt with the marketing and the business side of the band. I was like, if I can just focus on selling at one place, I don't want to use the MC Hammer thing, but selling things from the trunk of your car, you're in control of every single part of it. So it's like, you know how many you sold, you know how many you got left, you know who's coming to buy it, you know how many to bring next time, kind of thing. So it's like, if I get it on Amazon, I know it'd do better, and it'd be better for me on Amazon, because people have to go to one spot. The unfortunate side for me is distribute it yourself through Amazon. You don't get the whole Europe side of thing in China and things like that. So at the moment, it's just the UK and US. I don't know if individually that changes, because if sales go up, now those options become available, kind of thing. But at the moment, it's just UK, US, whereas the distributor would have probably got me worldwide of Amazon, but it's also on 1,000 other platforms. So I won't hit the marks that I want to hit because it's too widespread. So the first time I uploaded it, it got denied, and it said, we don't accept unsolicited material, because they just recently changed their rules. Yeah. And I'm like, I was losing my mind. And then I was having, I won't go into it, but I was having all kinds of problems with editing. It wasn't exporting, the thing was crashing. I was like, fuck, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I was like, I'll go update IMDb. Hopefully me saying this doesn't get it taken off of Amazon. But I updated IMDb to make sure that, because when I started filming, not short films and things like that, my production company is called IIRusty Productions. But on Amazon, IMDb, I noticed that doesn't show up yet properly as a company. So it might just look like I'm uploading it as me, Daniel Peters. So it's like, just gonna be another indie filmmaker that's taken down, kind of thing. So I thought, okay, I'll make sure that IMDb is updated. I'll make sure the production company comes in as IIRusty Productions. And then I'll make sure, whether they're good or bad, that the reviews are on there as well. So they just look at things differently. And then the other thing, this probably didn't work, but just in case it did, anyone else who wants to do the thing. I made sure all the fonts for the film, so the characters, the title is Amazon's font. So I found out what Amazon used for their.
Interesting.
Yeah. I just try to do things as Amazon as possible. So when they look at it, like, okay,
Yeah,
it probably didn't work, but I'm just trying to think of any tiny little thing to just help
sure,
along. But
sure. I mean,
yeah.
I've not heard that before, so I mean, yeah, why not try it?
Yeah.
But it's on there, and because my problem with Amazon personally, and from speaking to other filmmakers, is that
Yeah,
lots of people want their film on Amazon because Amazon's
of
such a
course. Yeah,
huge juggernaut of a thing. But because they're so big and because they've got a lot of content in terms of films and everything else they sell in the world,
yeah,
the people I've spoken to sort of kind of feel that they just get lost amongst the whatever billion
yeah.
films and these shows they've got. Again,
Definitely.
how are you finding? Because obviously you've got to do it yourself. You've got to you've got to keep working it.
Yeah,
Find it.
I mean, like I said, I'm new to it, just like everybody else in the indie world. I was just scared of the distributors and aggregators, only because just I think it was just distributor or whatever it was that went down.
Yeah.
They had so many filmmakers on there, and no one's getting any funds and things like that. And I just thought, if I go all out and I stress out and I get it with a company, yeah, they're doing well now, but they can go down any second, and then I'm screwed, and I don't know what to do, and I might not be able to get my film back, or I'll go to put it on Amazon and be like, sorry, it's already on there. This company's messed something up, and I'm just like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I didn't know what to do now. I nearly went on Vimeo on demand. But then I was worried, am I going to hit the right audience for that? Am I going to get enough audience? Because no offense to Vimeo, I still love Vimeo, but it seems to have gone down this weird rabbit hole of people not caring about using their platform anymore. So I'm just like, if they don't care about it for free videos and tutorial videos, anything like that, why would buyers care about it of buying a film if the user doesn't even care about it as much as they used to? So I was worried about that. So I just took a chance on Amazon, and
Sure.
I hope it goes okay. The tough part for me right now is I'm trying to do marketing. I'm trying to do marketing the old school ways besides ads and social, is I'm trying to do the bus stop thing. So on bus stops and on buses.
Okay.
But the problem with that is all the rules that Amazon have is they have to approve your film first before you do that. So social media and things like that, there's just like, go ahead, use these right tags. You can do what you want as long as you're using this. But anything physical, they're like, you have to wait, like email us this, and then if we approve it, we'll allow it, kind of thing. So I'm trying to do some events now with camera companies to market it, that side of thing, and then talk about the film. So I'm trying to get these posters made, but I can't do anything because I don't have approval yet. So I definitely don't want to fuck everything up and do it without there.
Sure. Yeah, you've come this far. You don't want to.
Yeah. So it's still a massive learning curve. I mean, tomorrow Amazon could take the film down. I have no idea, but I'm just doing my best that I can. I know how to do is just trusting the gut and then trying to do old school ways of learning. And yeah, it's just...
Absolutely. And that's the pitfall, but also the joy of independent filmmaking, isn't it? And again, I think it's, well, from my point of view of being a fan of independent filmmaking, being involved in two little, very, very small, well, one quite big, but the impact was small, a short film, is literally, it's the whole point of, in my head, of independent filmmaking is the fact that, one, you are independent, so you don't have a studio, an Amazon or something else going, you can't do this, interfering.
Yeah.
But also it's the guerrilla style of it, isn't it? It's the fact that you are doing it in any way you possibly can. If you've got to shoot 5 a.m. and you're handing out flyers to people saying, hey, check out my film, then that's what you've got to do. Which is, to me, the exciting part of doing it. Otherwise, go and get a job at Cineworld or something.
Yeah.
It's Yeah, I mean, and hopefully it's going to plan out. But even if it doesn't, then at least you've got ownership of the thing that you've made.
Yeah,
That you can,
exactly. Then I can choose the next distributing, aggregating kind of thing because I'm not tied down too much.
do you want
I
to
think
do
it's
talk about the concept of it if people are not familiar with it? What's the film about? What's the sort of story?
um so I've always had this kind of like nightmare of not having kids, but like if you were gonna have kids, what if having kids isn't the worst part for most people? Like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? I'm gonna be able to deal with it. Like my life's gonna change. What if like it changed in a way you're not even thinking of like the moment of having, can't tell too much, the moment of having kids turns on you a different way. But I didn't want to tell it in a male kind of light. I thought I'd twist it and have it a female side of it, because we always show I don't know, we always show a male side of being down and miserable when things go wrong. I've never really seen too much of a female version of that. Not saying I'm original, I'm the only one that's done it. But I just thought it'd be interesting to see that side of thing without it being too like overly pretty or things like that. Just like it's hit you, there's kind of no way out of it. And it's tough because when you're so in the film, you don't see how dark it is anymore. So a lot of people have said it's a tough thing to watch. And I'm just like, because I'm so in it, do you know what I mean? But I think that's good because that's what I wanted out of it. I didn't want it to be like, oh, I'm gonna wait because this part's gonna happen and everything's gonna be okay. It's like, no, because if it really did fucking happen, how are you gonna deal with that? Do you know what I mean? Some people might be able to move on. Some people would just completely shut the world out. Yeah, it was just, I just tried my hardest to make it feel real. And yeah, I just wanted the moments together with them to feel just kind of normal everyday living for them. Just like nothing's too overly crazy weird or anything like that. And just how fast something can kind of disappear from you, really, and just how would you deal with it?
Sure,
But
sure.
yeah,
No, I mean,
shooting it in during COVID was hospital, booking a real hospital during COVID was just, oh my God, it was difficult.
I could see how that would be an issue.
Yeah.
But again, it's the backdrop of everything else.
Exactly. Everyone was like, book an office, do this. And I was like, I'm going to tell it's not a hospital. I like, it has to. And they were trying to be helpful because of budget and things like that, because it was an expensive location. But I was just like, it has to be 100% a hospital. I have to feel that that's a hospital.
And
the company were,
you got a hospital.
yeah, the company, the hire company was really nice. A company called Good Spaces, and it was difficult to get rolling, but once we got it, they were nice, and we couldn't have. Lucky enough, we couldn't have more than 7 people filming, and I was like, well, that's everybody, the crew, like everybody. So it was really good, and the person was very helpful throughout the day of the company. So yeah, it's tiring as hell, but it was good. It was good fun.
No, I bet. So is the plan just to basically promote this as much as possible and see what happens to it on terms of being on Amazon? Are you? I suppose, is it too late to sort of try to go the festival route with it, or
it's in festivals.
Okay.
Well, not in festival, but it's getting approval through festivals.
Yeah.
Which might fuck things up now because it's on Amazon, so they might like look at it a different way, which isn't good. But I think the good thing to tell to other filmmakers is you don't know what's going to happen. So if you sit and wait for everything, nothing might happen. So I sent it off to festivals first because in my mind I was like, I might not get any distribution, so then I have to go on the festivals. But then if I can get distribution, go ahead with distribution. Oh, that's the other thing, is the original release was supposed to be September the 3rd. That was the plan, and then Amazon accepted it, and then I was like, okay, so it's on there, but now it might not come out to the 3rd. And Amazon being Amazon, I'm like, what happens if they're sat there and they're like, you know what, I don't want this film, and they take it down, and then I paid for all this marketing.
Yeah.
So I was like, fuck, I need to think fast. I was like, it's going out next week. It's going, because you don't know. Do you know what I mean? You can spend thousands on marketing and pushing all this stuff, and then people are like, your film's not on Amazon.
Yeah,
You know
you
what I
just got
mean?
a dead link, and yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So I was like, fuck it, I just have to go all out and just, because like I said, I could die tomorrow, something can happen, and just have to go with the flow, just feel what's happening and just go with it. But it's a scary world, the independent filmmaking world.
It certainly is. It's a certain special kind of crazy person that wants to do it.
But yeah, as you were saying to your question, the plan is to carry on marketing that. I'm still writing for this other piece, but the plan for the other piece is I want to do a series, but this one I can't fund it. So the hopes is to push the Amazon thing as much as I can, get the film known as much as I can, hopefully get traction from somebody. I mean, I know I'm still living in a dream world where someone's gonna be like, hey, I love what you do, here's all this money. And then do the series, and then just carry on from there. Because I'm not in it for money. Do you know what I mean? Like, yes, you need money to make the next project, but as long as I can just live, pay bills, and carry on doing what I'm doing, I'm fine. I don't need to be out there buying all this crazy stuff and things like that.
I mean, knowing, because you've done it in a slightly unique way, and you know, beforehand the short films, working with camera makes and things, which I really like the idea of going to that, because you're using the corporate thing to say my thing, but showing the product, which I think is a really cool idea. From where you are right now, what would you say was if you could do anything again, like differently, what would that be?
That's the toughest thing, because the obvious answer would be don't make short films.
Sure.
Because one, it's unfortunate, it's a waste of money, but if you don't do them, you don't know what to budget for your feature film, because you're like, look, I can nail these fucking scenes, I can do this, I know I can bug this person, I know I can like go to this store and be like, look, you know, here's $100, let me shoot here for just 2 hours, whatever. You don't know all that and how much you can get out of an actor in a short amount of time, because they need their breaks. Do you know what I mean? They need to eat and rest and all that stuff. You can't just go all out and go, here's a 20-hour day, like fucking deal with it, I got no money. It's still business. You have to still treat people like people. So it is important to do the short films, because you do need to learn before you go all out. Just try and learn quicker. Like, I should have learned quicker. I shouldn't have done 4 or 5 shorts. I should have done 1 or 2. Right, got it. Then go all out. Because I didn't know short films was a waste of time, because in my mind, I was still living in that kind of Vimeo world. Get a staff pick, I'm gonna, you know, it's like, it doesn't work like that anymore. The whole world has just changed. Even with marketing, you can't bug, it's unfortunate for people that want to do what I did, but you can't bug camera companies anymore, because they're like, why would I give you $4,000 when I just give this YouTuber the camera for free? Marketing's done. Do you know what I mean? It's like, that's why there's so many of them, because it's so fucking easy for them to do. And you can't blame them for doing it, because they're a business. If it's easier for them to do that, and they're not spending any money, because manufacturing the cameras is nothing to them, it's just a lot simpler. They don't want to be like, they're gonna buy the GH5 now because this filmmaker did a great. Like, no, we just want to fucking sell products. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Do you think also that there's a large part of filmmakers, independent filmmakers, young filmmakers, making lots and lots of short films, because it's certainly, if they go down the crowdfunding route, it's always other people's money, so it's kind of like, doesn't matter, it's like, we'll make the 8th short film.
I mean, that's another reason why I didn't do it, because you kind of have to cater to them. I mean, don't like stray away from them. I mean, if it works, it works. But if your goal is to do features and sell stuff, the only way to do it is to hurry up and get into it. Like, do the short films, because it's not just about you, a camera, and actors anymore. You need to know the business. You need to know marketing. I mean, you don't need to, but the chances are you knowing those people that be like, I'll take care of all of that for you. It's just not going to fucking happen.
And if you do meet those people, tends to be they're the people that are going to screw you.
Exactly, yeah. Unless they're, yeah, I was gonna say unless they're family, but they can screw you as well.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very, very true.
Yeah, yeah. That's the thing. There's no right way of doing it. Yeah, there's no right way of doing it, and it's just learn by trial and error, and try not to spend so much money. I know everyone's like feature films. You know, we need to get 200 grand, and we need this, and we like if it doesn't need it, all you need is just. I know it sounds bad, but good actors and good sound. Cameras are very important to me because I'm a cinematographer. But in the end of the day, it's the writing, the actors, and the sound. Once that is like perfect, then the cinematography obviously helps drive that further. But you can do it without it. Do you know what I mean? I would watch a good film with good actors and good sound shot on an iPhone than something that looks fantastic visually, but the story just sucks balls and just like, yeah.
Exactly. It's reverse of style over substance, isn't it? It's substance, and then if the style's good, that's great.
Yeah.
But it's like I kind of look at it, and again, I'm not trying to come across like I've got tons of experience, but I kind of look at it. If you're sitting on a bus, someone's telling you a story. If it's a really cool story, you don't care what t-shirt the guy's wearing and the fact that you're on a bus. You know what I mean? You know, he could be wearing a suit, but if it's like a boring shit story that's not going anywhere, like you don't give a fuck, you know?
Yeah.
So that's kind of film, isn't it? For being a cinematographer yourself as well as an independent filmmaker, who do you like? Whose work do you like? What cinematographer sort of
This is a
inspires you?
very, this is weird because you expect me to name all these names and just this guy, this guy, this guy.
Or director.
I try, like, I don't know what it is, but I try not to focus on it. It sounds really, might sound like a dick, but coming from the music world, I got way too caught up in bands.
Sure.
Like the sound, how they produced it, this, things like that. That when I at the time when I tried to do like our own stuff, it was just a direct copy. I couldn't see it because I was like, yes, you know, it sounds like that. It sounds, and then when you step away from it, you're like, Jesus Christ, it's just the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try to just appreciate it when I see it or I notice something in the film, but I never go back to it like if I would have done in the music. So I just like, I like
Sure.
that, that's cool. And just next. I try not to get caught up for that reason
Yeah.
of worrying about trying to be good as that person. And instead of trying to be good, you just emulate them kind of thing. But
Yeah, I know, I get what you mean.
but styles that I do like is yeah, but things like I'm more of like a slow paced kind of guy. So like things like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, um, Amazon show Homecoming. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I've not seen.
Oh yeah, definitely watch Homecoming. Forgot her name. What's her name? Pretty Woman. Pretty Woman girl's name. How can I forget her name? Pretty Woman.
Oh, Roberts.
What is wrong with me?
Yeah. No, I know who you mean. I
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
I
yeah,
can't.
it's good, and the cinematography in that because it's like old school anamorphic, and it's just yeah, it's just good, man. You watch that, it's really good. So I like that kind of stuff, slow paced kind of guy. And then I like stuff like Training Day. I love that film. Pulp Fiction, the usual kind
Sure.
of things like that. But yeah, heavily into like when shows got good because I love the fact that the writing's just so much harder. Do you know what I mean? You have to really dive into that character to make you want to like them and have something to bite into for that long. Whereas films, you just you know what I mean? It's yeah. So I it's almost like I prefer shows when they're really good to films because it's hard to get that moment in a film without that bit felt kind of rushed or you know.
Yeah, if you've got 2 hours, then you've got to get a lot.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I know you mean.
Shows. I think I'll say yeah. I think that's why I got stuck into Lost when it did its thing. I was like, wow, that's really cool how they did that.
Sure. I get that. How do people follow you, contact you, social media, all that sort of stuff, website?
So usually like the tags I have is Daniel Peters DOP. So anything on Twitter, Instagram will have that. But now like separately for things that I've never had like a feature. So like for the feature film is Save Jane Feature on Instagram, and the website for that savejane.co.uk, and then Amazon US and UK at the moment. Hopefully I'll figure out a way to get it to people in Europe, because I'm just clueless of all that stuff. Hopefully it stays on there for a long time, and it does well. Who knows, man?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, you just got to throw everything at it and deal with the problems when they arise, you know.
Yeah.
Last question for you, because I try to ask this of everyone I speak to, in terms of where how do you see independent filmmaking at the moment? Just generally, other people, what's coming out, the changes, the environment, that sort of thing.
It's really good. I think it's amazing the change it's doing. I think the bad thing is there's a lot of, I mean, obviously I'm against it as well, but there's a lot of hate towards the so-called gatekeepers of, you know, getting your stuff out there. But at the end of the day, as a business side of things, you just have to think of it like there needs to be that, because otherwise there's too much stuff out there. You don't know what to pay attention to. There's a reason why we kind of have those things, but those things should just be easier. They shouldn't be as strict as what they are. So I'm for it, but just not the way that it is right now. So, because we got to be careful that the indie doesn't go too indie. Whereas, because at the moment, what I'm worried about is, unless you're a filmmaker or in that industry, how would you know where to look? Do you know what I mean? Like, to find those films. And I think the diehard indie people will find it, but it's like, we don't want to be that, because that's the struggling part of carrying on doing what we're doing, making money. So we need to.
That's the whole reason why I came up with the idea.
Figure out a way of having that a bit more accessible to know.
Yeah, it's the same with the music, isn't it? It's the same that, like,
exactly,
you can have an amazing garage band that has like 100 hardcore fans that turn up to every like porch you play on or whatever, and they've got your CD that you burn at home, and they love you, and they've got the t-shirt and stuff, but it's like, that's not sustainable. Do you know what I mean? Like 100 people in the whole country, America, wherever, is, you know, you've got to get to that point where someone's cousin, sister, work colleague, whatever, has heard.
I mean, if I had to, I think if someone might steal my idea, but if I had the money, what I would love to do is open up a marketing business for indie filmmakers, where it's almost like a loan. So they go to the marketing company and they're like, I think I could market this film for, I don't know, 10 grand or whatever. So they've already made the film. They've already done like the hard part. Now it's the annoying part that no one wants to do because it's scary and you're spending so much money. So it's almost like, you know, you're buy now, pay later kind of thing, or your monthly payment. So you get what you want out of it. And then that way, you know, you're only diving in to get that loan for just marketing. So it's not like a bank where it's like, oh, I don't know about this kind of thing. And then they get their marketing loan, and then they're the ones taking the risk of getting the loan. So it's easier for them to get the loan because they don't have the money, but they're the ones taking the risk. And I kind of like that, because I learned my lesson with that going back to the band days in America. Like when we were touring here, everything, that wasn't easy, but you didn't think about it. You're like, yeah, this is good. Nobody showed up. Oh, who cares? Whereas America, it's like, oh, you want to play here? That's $300. Huh? Yeah, you pay us 300, and then if the venue sells out, you get your money back. But it's smart. But when you first get into it, you're like, fuck you, I'm not paying you. You know what I mean? But it's like, well, if you're good enough and the crowd's here, that's nothing. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
So I think that's what filmmakers need for like marketing, because marketing's difficult. You don't have the money. But if you had that extra helping hand of someone like, you know what, here's $5 grand, pay £20 a month, whatever, to pay it off, or such and such.
And it's the most important part of it, really, because there's so many people that I've got this film, I've spent 20 grand and 3 years making this film, but no one's seen it. I don't know how to get anyone to see it. I agree.
Or they're so fucking stressed out that they don't want to market it, because like, I can't deal with it anymore. Just get out of my face. I want to start the next one. It's like, no, like, market your baby first, and then
Yeah, I know, I agree. Daniel, it's been great speaking with you. And yeah, let's do another one a little bit
Yeah, man, I
later, like
appreciate
follow up and see how life on
appreciate you having me
Amazon
on.
is
So thank you
going.
so much,
You
man. Thank you.
know? No
Yeah.
problem.
Perfect. Thank you so much, man.